makeup friends, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and today I'm going to share with you the makeup items that I have bought in the last couple of weeks. Some of these items are PR, I will show you which items those are, and then the rest I have purchased myself. Now, before we get started, I am trying to reformulate this habit of at least highlighting some of the makeup that I'm wearing in these videos because I often do get questions, even if I do list everything out in the description box, which I'm not very good at doing, first of all, but regardless, I've got a bit of a hodgepodge going on my eyes right now. I am wearing a Danessa Myricks Infinite Chrome Flakes, which we're going to talk about momentarily. I also have a few shades from the Viseart palette here. This one is the Paris Étoile palette. I have not done a look exclusively just using this yet, and I was saying that when I did my eyeshadow palette declutter video, that this was a palette that I had to have and then never used it. So I busted it out today for this matte here and then the really deep purple. I also have a little bit of this taupe over top of the Chrome Flakes. And then on my lips, I have the shade Man Eater from the Lip Bar. This is one of their liquid lipsticks, and I really, really enjoy the formula of these liquid lipsticks. So with that out of the way, let's get into these items. Let's start with the items that I've received in PR, and then we will move on to the ones that I have purchased myself. So I have a little pile here from Kaleidos. They emailed me asking if I wanted to receive their newest vaults for their lip clay, and I was very, very excited and quickly responded and said, yes, please, because those are one of my favorite liquid lipstick formulations, as well as the Lip Bar one. And they also said, if there's anything else that you would like to try, let us know. Which always, frankly, kind of gives me a bit of anxiety because I'm like, I want to try absolutely everything that you have, but I also don't feel entitled to ask for everything that they have, you know what I mean? So I actually went through the website. They had some eyeshadow quads. I'd said one or the other would be amazing. They have some multi-chrome eyeliner pencils as well, and I picked out a couple of shades that I wanted to try from that. And then I received the PR package. So they did include the two vaults that they had initially contacted me on. So there we have the first one. This is their Song of Winter collection. So we've got the 4 shades in here. I will go ahead and insert some arm swatches. I haven't gotten around to doing lip swatches of these yet, but the arm swatches hopefully will give you a good idea of what these shades look like. And then we have the more neutral vault over here. And again, there are 4 liquid lipsticks housed in there. I would say, if you like slightly more unique colors, go for the deeper, darker vault. If you really like nudes, this one might be up your alley, but I will say they're very similar in tone, one from the next. There are slight variations, but there are 2 shades in there that I have a very, very difficult time distinguishing between them. So I don't know that this is the best value for money, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think they do have some other neutral vaults where there is a bit more variety within the 4 shades. This one certainly runs the gamut, so you're covered on your bases here, but they're not neutrals. So depending on what you're looking for, but this one I was just a little bit disappointed in terms of the variety of the shades, but the formula itself is phenomenal, and I highly recommend the lip clays. And then not only did they send me that, but they sent me the 2 eye quads that I didn't have yet. So we've got this one here, and I can't remember the name of it offhand. I'll have to look it up and put it on the screen. This one is Flowing Haze, and I did include this one in one of my looks for the makeup that I wore to work recently. This one, I have no complaints about the Kaleidos eyeshadow formula. They are beautiful to work with. Those shimmers are really high impact and last beautifully throughout the day. The mattes layer on top of themselves. You can sheer them out, just go in with a really light application, but you can also pack them on and have true depth to them. So they are one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas, and they are very consistent from one palette to the next. But they didn't stop there. So although I'd only basically set out, I think 1 or 2, I think it might have even been just one of the multi-chrome pencil liner shades, they sent me all of them, which is just so very generous. And these are lovely. I have one of them in my waterline today. Probably won't be able to really pick up on it, but gonna have to get creative in terms of how to use this. I had thought about doing a bit of a graphic liner look today, but I didn't really think it went with the overall vibe, so restrained myself from that, but I am looking forward to playing with these because they are very, very multi-chromatic and they are beautiful. And they didn't stop there. So they also included their Tone Activator Eye Primer, which is a product I was very curious about. I didn't ask to try it, but I was very curious about it and I'm very happy that they sent it to me. I did mention this one in my work makeup video that I did very recently. It dries down almost to like a powdery type finish, which makes blending mattes on top of it very, very easy. But if you're looking for something that's going to grab onto like shimmer shadows, I would suggest using a glitter glue on top of this or going for another primer that has a bit of a stickier base, because this one just dries down completely and it won't hold those shadows in that way. They also included their coconut oil lip treatment. I haven't been able to test this a lot because I'm working on other lip products. I have so many of them, but I will say the initial few times that I have worn it, I've enjoyed it far more than I've enjoyed their little potted lip products. This one is the Blue Agave Softening Lip Mask, and I have got good use out of this one, but it's just sort of like a very short-term effect, if you will. Like, it's great for me to dab on while I'm starting my makeup and then just like wipe any residual away before I go in with lipstick. But if you're looking for something that is going to last overnight or really hydrate your lips or combat winter air, things of that sort, this just isn't up to the task. Whereas this one has a lot more substance to it and is much more nourishing, whereas this just feels more sort of surface level, if that makes sense. Okay, then they also included their entire range of their contour trios. So I've kept this one here. This is the light shade. So you've got like a brightening powder here, contour, and then a bronzer. There are two other deeper shades. I have not even opened them or swatched them. I might include them in a future giveaway. I have some friends, like one of my friends, it will fit the medium one, so I can give that to her. I will try to rehouse them. And then they've also included a single here. So this again is the Symphony Face Illuminator in Light. And so it's very similar to the other one, if not, in fact, the exact same that's in the trio. I have enjoyed using this. I don't use it every single day because it's just an extra step, but it does help to brighten up the under eyes without being too obvious about it. So it's not like, you know, like the Kim K super bright under eyes from a few years ago. It's not that effect, but it does help to brighten things up a bit. So very, very generous package from Kaleidos. They are one of my favorite brands. I really feel that they're very consistent across the board. So I am incredibly grateful to receive these items from them. Love them, love them, love them. I also received a very generous PR package from Odin's Eye, which had all of their new single shadows in it. I did do a video where I went ahead and swatched all of these, so I will link that up below in case you missed it and you're curious. I think they are currently sold out of these, but I do believe they're going to be restocking them. It would be an absolute shame if they did not. I don't know that you need all 30 if I'm being perfectly honest, but there are some absolute standouts in here, particularly this gold shimmer. These top two rows are all multi-chromes. The red, I don't really find that it has much of a shift to it, but it's just stunning on the eyes. That is M012 Lucy, and no, it's not Lucy, Leon. It's Leon, and it's beautiful. Lucy is another one that I have really, really enjoyed, and it's this one here. Not a multi-chrome, but still very dimensional, very beautiful on the eyes. It's kind of like a burnt orange kind of shade, and it's absolutely stunning. That one is S012. Those are the two that I have just been consistently reaching for. There are others in here that I really like as well, but I'm just blown away by their generosity. They also included like the individual cases to hold them in, but I just find this to be far more convenient. This magnetic palette is from Clionadh. So there you have that one. This one is available on their website. I do have a discount code with them, which is affiliated. I will put it along here. It's also in my description box. I don't have a code with Odin's Eye. I don't have a code with Kaleidos, but I wanted to share those items with you anyways. So from there, let's move on to the items that I have actually purchased myself, and we'll start with a couple drugstore items from NYX. So up first, I've got the Fat Lip Oil in the shade Follow Back. And I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's just sort of there. When I wrote notes about it, I wrote forgettable. And I really think it kind of is. It's just not a standout product. So it has a rather large doe foot, as you can see. It reminds me very much of the Gloss Bomb from Fenty, and particularly in the shade Fenty Glow. I'm just going to do a quick comparison swatch. I gotta say, I like this doe foot a little bit better, the Fenty one, because it's just a little bit more precise. And I like the Fenty formula better. Fenty's not necessarily a lip oil, but I would argue that this isn't really a lip oil either. It feels more like a gloss. It is quite sheer, so this is the NYX, this is Fenty. I'm not saying that they're dupes at all, but they're very, very similar. If you have this one, you really don't need the NYX one unless you're looking at a different shade, perhaps. This one is just almost hitting the sticky note. Not quite there, but just a hair away from it. It just feels almost heavy on the lips. I'm just not a big fan of it. When I think lip oils, I think very moisturizing, very almost slippery on the lips. Not to the point where like it slides all over your face or anything like that, but just very, very light texture. And this one is a lot thicker than what I expected from a lip oil. Again, I don't necessarily dislike it. I will use it, but I don't feel the need to buy any more of them, even though they do have several shades to choose from. Now, the other item that I picked up from NYX, though, I love. I can see this becoming like a staple that I repurchase over and over again, and that is their new brow glue. So when I first bought it and opened it, I was like, I'm not going to like this at all. The reason being, and I'm not sure that I can really capture this, but I'll bring it in as close as I can, and hopefully it works. So when I bring it out, see those little strings? You see that? I was very skeptical about that and was not entirely sure I was going to enjoy that texture. And then I applied it and was like, I don't know. There's like a lot of resistance as you bring it through the brows, and then it dries and your brows do not move all day. But they're not crunchy as you're like emoting and moving your eyebrows around. You're not aware of them. You don't feel them. It fills them in somewhat, but that's not really what I personally am looking for in a brow product. I need hold, particularly this one. This one is a punk. It does what it wants to do, but not when it's wearing this. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like glue going through. Like they have named it appropriately. It feels sticky and it feels a little off-putting, but you kind of have to just trust the process because then it dries down. I am wearing it right now. I can feel that there's something in my brows, but it's not tacky. It doesn't crumble off. There's no flaking to it. And again, everything just moves naturally, but those hairs are locked into place. And I freaking love this product. So again, it's one that I can see myself repurchasing over and over and over again. Dare I say I have found the perfect brow product for me? It's a bold statement, but I feel pretty confident that I have. All right, moving on from there, I did pick up the Pumpkin Spice Second Slice palette from Shoppers Drug Mart using Shoppers Drug Mart points. So I wasn't out of pocket the money. I know everybody has a different take on that. It's totally fine. I'm glad that I didn't pay actual dollars for this, and I'm glad that it was on 50% discount because I am not in love with this palette. I did talk about this in my work makeup video, but at the risk of repeating myself, here we go. The mattes apply beautifully. They can build up really nicely. You can get some really good intensity out of them. This pink leaves you wanting more. It just doesn't really translate to be that intense once you put it on the eyes. But that aside, I love the tones in here. I love the color story. I love how easy the mattes are to work with, even though they are quite pigmented. They blend really nicely, but they get a little muddy over the course of the day and they all kind of meld together. And what starts off as a bit of like a gradient transition, you just kind of lose that effect over the course of the day. And the shimmers do not have excellent staying power. Now I do have to test this further with like a glitter glue underneath the shimmers to see if I can really lock them into place. But Initially, just using a regular eyeshadow primer, they are not up to the task, even when I do hit them with a bit of setting spray before applying. So it's not a complete write-off. I'm not going to like hate on it too harsh. I do want to use it a few more times and really test out different bases with it, but it's not one that I could say like everybody should go out and grab this one. We'll put it that way. Now, a few days ago, I had a lovely mother-daughter date with Aspen. We went out for lunch. I took her to get her hair done. We did a little bit of shopping at Toys R Us, and then we went to Sephora together. I had a coupon from, had to have been at least a year ago, where you get like the tester kit of the mascaras, and then you get that coupon code to buy a full size of them if you redeem it in store. So it's been kicking around. I found it while I was doing some decluttering. I'd completely forgot I even had it. Unfortunately, Bite Beauty, I can no longer use it to redeem for that mascara, which, damn my procrastination, because had I cashed it in, I would have had another one of those Bite Beauty mascaras, which I freaking love. But nonetheless, I went for the next best one that was available, and that was the Milk Kush mascara. I haven't taken it out of the box yet because I'm just going to put it in the drawer. I have a few that are open that I'm working on. But now I have an extra mascara that I wasn't out any money for, so that is nice. But while we were there, of course, we got to swatching some stuff, and Aspen actually stumbled upon these little guys. And okay, if any of you have tried these and you see just how beautiful they are, shame on you for not telling me about them. I'm totally kidding. These are freaking gorgeous. So these are from Danessa Myricks. This is the Infinite Chrome Flakes. This one in particular is the shade Moonlight. Now, I've seen these online, but my dumbass never read the actual description, and I just assumed because it had flake in the name that they were a dry, flaky kind of product. No, they're not. These are housed in like a jelly kind of consistency, and it is stunning. It's so beautiful. I do have this on my eyes today, but I've layered stuff on top of it, so you might see a little bit of it peeking through, but it's not the star for today. But I will put some on the back of my hand because like both of our butts nearly fell off when we saw these. They are so pretty. Now in store, they only had a few shades to choose from. On the Sephora website, there's probably, I think, at least the Canadian one, there's 10 shades. And on Beautylish, this camera is not doing it justice. What is happening? It's so gorgeous. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's just how the light hits it. Anyways, on the Beautylish website, they have 16 different shades to choose from. Kind of want them all. I've narrowed it down to 2 shades that I currently have sitting on my loves list. They're just so beautiful. And the thing I really like about this is that I wouldn't hesitate to wear this to the office because it's not just like a wall of eyeshadow on the lids where it's like super intense and really reflective. I feel like this is office appropriate, even though it just kind of pushes the envelope a little bit, but you know, depending on how the light hits it, you can't see it at all. And then there it is, and then it's gone again. So I think it would just be like these little glints of shimmer and just beautiful perfection on the lids. So I am very much looking forward to wearing these some more. I've worn them a couple times. I will say if you use a glitter glue, you're going to have far better lasting power. They do lock into place, like that jelly substance does dry down. You kind of have to fan it once you've first applied it. It will dry down, but over the course of the day, particularly if you have hooded eyes like me, just the friction of the lids rubbing against themselves will cause some flakiness to happen. But wearing a glitter glue really locks them into place. But oh my goodness, this product is stunning. I'm just so blown away with it and so happy about it. And then today, an order that I had placed at Beautylish arrived. So I had purchased this lipstick here from Lena Chu, brand I've never tried before. This is one of their Great Artist Velvet Matte lipsticks. Don't entirely know how I even stumbled upon the brand while I was on the Beautylish website. Not entirely sure, but I'm very glad that I did. So this is the lipstick here. There's some really beautiful detailing on it. You can see the engraving on the tube itself, and then there's some detailing on the bullet, and it's just a really beautiful lipstick. Now, granted, it arrived today, so I've only swatched it on my lips and my arm. Haven't really had an opportunity to wear it for any extended period of time, but initial application, it is incredibly pigmented. Sorry, I should have shown it there. Incredibly pigmented, incredibly smooth. It has a matte finish, but it's not like a lifeless matte. There's a tiny bit of sheen to it. It will dry down. Now, I've only worn it for a couple of minutes at a time, so I really can't speak to longevity or how it feels on the lips after an hour or two, anything like that. I will update in a future video to let you know my thoughts on it, but initially I'm just so very happy with the color, and it just feels like a nice experience using it. Even opening it felt like an experience. Like, it came in a little box, and then you open that up. It has a box inside of the box, and then the lipstick was housed in like a little velvet bag. So it just felt luxurious and fancy, and it's just part of the experience. And then because I purchased this and a brush from her line, I also got a free kit of lipsticks. So I will talk about the brush in just a moment, but this has 4 of the matte velvet lipsticks in here as well. So I'm really looking forward to putting these lipsticks to the test. I have good hopes for them. They feel luxurious. They feel like they're going to have good lasting power, but again, I will update you once I've had an opportunity to really put them to the test. So I said that I bought a brush from her line as well. It was described as a foundation brush, and I am always willing to try new foundation brushes. One of mine has recently given up the ghost, and I've got another one that's very close to doing so as well. So I actually am in the market to replace some of my brushes. So I picked up their foundation brush. And I gotta say, so it's the FB01. Kind of disappointed in it. You can see by the size of it, it's not very big. It's too small, in my opinion, to be an effective foundation brush, but too big for concealer. Now, I did use it for my foundation today, and it is definitely workable. It is incredibly soft. It doesn't leave like drag marks in the foundation. It blends things out really nicely. So the actual performance of the brush, I really enjoy, which therefore I would be willing to try more brushes from her line because, like I said, it's just so soft and so densely packed. I didn't have any problems applying my foundation. It just took longer than I would normally do because it's so small. I also did use it to blend out my concealer just to see if that would be a use that I would use it for. And it's good from like here over to here, but getting in that inner corner, because mine is rather deep set, it's just not precise enough for me. I kind of wish it had a bit of a beveled edge for that. But regardless, I like the brush. I'm going to figure out how to best use it, even if it's just for like applying like liquid highlighters or blending out liquid blush, something like that. But as a foundation brush, it's just a little bit too small for my own personal tastes. And then finally, in that same Beautylish order, so that I could get the free shipping, I purchased this brush here from Units. This is the 307 brush. They have a great price point to their brushes, like $8 to maybe $20 in and around there. I've bought one of their little kits before, and I've really enjoyed using those brushes, and they have held up really well. I anticipate the same is going to happen with this one. I did use it for my transition shade today. It's very soft, and yet not too soft. Like, I don't want a fluffy brush that just splays everywhere, because that just kind of defeats the purpose. But I also don't want it so densely packed that it doesn't really blend out, especially in that transition area. I want that very soft and blown out. And this one is just the perfect blend of density and, I don't want to use the word flimsiness, but maybe flexibility might be a better word. It's not stiff against the eye at all, blends everything out, but still has enough sort of precision to it that you can actually like create the shape that you want while blending. So very happy about that. With the purchase of that brush, which I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I think it was in like the $10-ish range. Regardless, if you bought anything from Units at that time, you got a translucent loose setting powder for free. I haven't undone it yet. I haven't used it yet. I am working on one in my project pan, and I do have other powders, so I don't anticipate using this one anytime too soon unless curiosity gets the better of me, but I don't tend to put a lot of effort into reviewing powders unless it's like really good or really bad. It just kind of does what it does, and I don't really get excited about powders. So for now, this one's just going to be in the drawer waiting for its turn to shine. So there we have it. Those are the items that I have purchased so far this year. I'd love to hear from you. What are some items that you've purchased? Any purchase regrets, any fast favorites? Let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I ask that you consider doing so. But otherwise, I will see you in my next video. And until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.